Is it possible for a Pokemon with the ability Levitate to interact with the grounded entry hazards Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Web? The answer is yes, and there's a few scenarios where this will occur. The first scenario is if the Pokemon with Levitate is holding the item Iron Ball. This item grounds the Pokemon holding it, making it interact with grounded entry hazards. This item grounds both flying types and Pokemon with the ability Levitate. However, it rarely sees any competitive usage, and a Pokemon with the ability Levitate would never run this item as it also removes their ground immunity, so this is not an interaction you will see on the competitive ladder. The second scenario is more likely, and that is with the move Gravity. Gravity has a number of effects, but the one we are concerned with is that it grounds Pokemon with the Flying type and the ability Levitate. A Pokemon with Levitate switching in while Gravity is in effect will interact with grounded entry hazards. While this scenario is more likely, it's still rarely seen in competitive because the move Gravity is not commonly used. The most common Pokemon to see it on in the current generation is Gigalith. Sometimes it will run Gravity in the NU tier in order to allow itself and its teammate Sandslash to hit flying types and levitating Pokemon with ground type moves, along with boosting their moves' accuracy. But still, Sand is not used much in NU, so this is an unlikely interaction to see. But what if I told you there was a third way for a Pokemon with Levitate to interact with grounded hazards, and that this scenario is the most common to see in competitive Pokemon? And that is an interesting interaction with the ability Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker is an ability that allows the Pokemon's moves to ignore the ability of the opponent's Pokemon. For example, a Pokemon with Levitate would be hit by a ground-type move if that move came from a Pokemon with Mold Breaker. The interesting thing about this ability is that after the Pokemon makes its move, all abilities on the opponent's Pokemon are ignored until the end of the turn, meaning that if a Pokemon with the ability Mold Breaker uses a phasing move, such as Whirlwind or Dragon Tail, the Pokemon that comes in next will have its ability ignored. This makes an incoming Pokemon take grounded hazard damage even if its ability is Levitate. This interaction can work both for and against you. While it makes Pokemon with Levitate take spikes damage and slows them with Sticky Web, it also allows levitating poison types like Weezing to remove toxic spikes from their side. This is something that you need to consider when playing in the PU tier. Dragon Tail is almost always used on Druddigon, and this Pokemon sometimes uses the ability Mold Breaker. There are two common poison types with Levitate in the tier, Weezing and Haunter. If your team relies on Toxic Spikes and spreading status with Dragon Tail, keep this interaction in mind, and maybe use Rough Skin instead.